So I don't normally make anime style. Okay, I do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes, I kind of make videos about anime a lot, at least on TikTok and other things. But I'm a very rounded person when it comes to discussing everything. But I just wanted to talk about this. So there is going to be spoilers, but I wanted to talk about the newest chapter of Attack on Titan and overall my theories of Attack on Titan. So, as we can see, so again, spoilers. So if you haven't read the manga, whatever, just go read it, or don't listen to this until it catches up in the anime, which will take a long time. So in the last chapter, we see what was her name? Ymir, the founding Titan, the founder, and her history. Now, a lot of people say that she opened her eyes when she's walking. When Eren finally catches up to her, she finally opens her eyes. But if you look throughout all the panels, I don't have editing, so I can't really show you pictures of this, but whatever. You can see that Ymir's, like every single character in the flashbacks, their eyes are covered, but they're all open, including the king. His eyes are darkened. I guess it kind of symbolizes the blindness of everyone, the blindness of the slaves who turned their back on her to avoid, being killed, and the reference of them losing their eye and everything, him blinding them too. I don't know, whatever. So you can see that the king's eyes are darkened in some panels, and the entire time you can actually, if you look close enough at her eyes, which isn't really hard because they do a good job of like detailing her face. They're open. They're open. There, you can see the outline of the eyelids open. It's just that they're darkened, showing that she's not there. That she's still able to see, and that her body is still. I mean, maybe her eyes are closed, but to me, when I was reading those panels, I viewed it as nobody was home. And when Eren finally touched her and was able to... And another thing about Eren's power, I don't think the Attack Titan has the ability to see into the future of future successors. I think that Eren himself had the ability to see into the future. Given by Ymir, given by the Founding Titan having the ability to see their own future memories and whatnot. You can kind of see, like, where's the Attack Titan in those 9 Titans? I think that the Attack Titan was a newer Titan created by Ymir over time, or at least they say that it's 9 Titans. But if you look at all, well, then again, when you look at the photograph of all of the Titans there, you have Ymir, the founder, sitting right there in the middle. But that doesn't make sense because Ymir was dead by the time that all the 9 Titans were created. So. I believe that the Titan on the very far bottom right was the Founding Titan. Maybe not. Maybe it was just a representation of the Founding Titan being the one in the center, and all the other Titans being there. But I believe that Eren's the only one that actually can see the future and can affect the past because of Ymir's power, because of his eventual grabbing of the Founding Titan. From Grisha and his connection with, because when he actually touches someone with royal blood, that's when everything happens. That's when his memories come back. That's when he's able to see his future memories. And I think in that moment when he touches Ymir, the power awakens, or rather, he's able to affect the memories in the past because he's never conscious when he's doing it. It's always done over time. And there's a specific line in there, like, you didn't see when he gave me the power when Grisha was eaten. We should go see that memory as well. Showing that Eren really has... I'm not sure how much of his future is being shown to him. I don't think that it's... Because what was it? Eren Kruger was on the tower with Grisha Jaeger, or on the big panel. He was shown the memories of Eren in the future, Mikasa and Armin, and wasn't told by... I mean, it's just amazing. Like, I really believe that Eren is the only one. The Attack Titan has the ability to affect the memories of all of the previous users because Eren himself is doing it. You never see anybody else. It's not anybody else's memories. It's always Eren. It's always centered around Eren. It's always circulating around Eren. I mean, obviously... the story's about Eren, so that they wouldn't show you any unnecessary memories from the Attack Titan, but it makes more sense that Eren, because of his connection with Ymir, the fact that he has the Founding Titan, and the eventual connection between him and his brother, or half-brother, still brother, allows him to do that. Because it wasn't until he connected to him that he was able to affect Grisha's memories, because he couldn't use the power. Or ymmaybe it's just that his power is latent and he needs the kickstart for it. But right as soon as he gains contact with Ymir, you see the rumbling happen and all that. His spinal column grows back and everything. And I don't think that that would be normally possible for other people, because even if you had the Founding Titan, maybe it's because of the separation between the Founding Titan and those of royal blood. The fact that because Zeke was able to catch his head, that's the only way that he would be able to grow his body back, obviously. But if the Founding Titan was killed like that, if a member of the royal blood were killed like that, they would just stay dead, and the Founding Titan would be passed on to some random person in the subjects of Ymir. So, you can see, the question is, why did she go back with all that power? Maybe it was because of Stockholm Syndrome, maybe it was because of the power or the fear that she has. Even with this power, she was still a little girl, so she didn't know what to do. She didn't even know that it was... maybe she wanted freedom, or maybe because the second that she became connected with the Founding Titan, it was memories shown to her from the beginning. Or maybe later down the road, when she was sitting there as she was growing up and aging. And I also think that the reason why all of the subjects of Ymir that become Titans die in 13 years isn't because of some disease. It's because Ymir herself has to do that to them. She makes it so that nobody else can survive for more than 13 years, because they have the ability, perfectly have the ability to stop that. They are able to regrow limbs, redo this, redo that, all these kinds of things, and yet they all die in 13 years, which doesn't make sense to me. I just don't believe it, because once you see that the spear is thrown at her, which I thought from the beginning that she was killed doing something, or someone had killed her. It wasn't disease or anything that happened. That it was not on accident. It was not on anything like that. I'm not sure. I think she knew because of Aaron how much it led down the road, or she's been trapped in that place in the coordinate for so long. Maybe she wanted out, and that was her only way. Maybe Aaron was inching her towards that inevitability of being trapped without even realizing it. Or maybe that she was able to see the future and knew that it was inevitable no matter what, and had to do this to ensure the safety of a bunch of people. I don't think that we're in a time loop. I don't think that that's what's going to be. I think people always were worried that was going to be the time loop, that Aaron was the cause of everything, and it was just going to keep starting and starting and starting and starting and starting. You can have something be the cause of it, but it doesn't mean that it's going to continuously loop around. It's just that the future dictates the past, and the past dictates the future, and they're connected. So Aaron did invariably cause everything. Everything that led up, Ymir was waiting and waiting and waiting. And I want to talk back to, I think Mikasa's going to die, because Aaron cries when he sees her, which I'm wondering why. But he also I'm thinking about this all as I'm talking about it, because I've been having these theories the entire time when I was reading the manga. And honestly, I was really taken away with how it changed. Now, everybody has their own opinions of Attack on Titan, but I'm really glad that it wasn't this, man versus unstoppable force with no mention, no ability. When I found out that people could change, and it wasn't just Aaron that could change into a Titan, anybody could change it. There was multiple people that could change into the Titans. I was wondering, oh man. At first I thought that there was a special breed of Titan that was able to hide amongst human beings, or that there was a special type of Titan that was intelligent and able to transform due to their powers. Which technically yes, but also no. Also, what are the female Titans' powers? Truly, what are their true powers? The fact that they can, call people to their body and kind of mimic the scream that Aaron had when he controlled them. So maybe the Attack Titan, the female Titan, are more related than you think. Maybe it's mirrored. I don't know, but it just seems like a weak power compared, because the hardening any of the Titans can do with practice. You have the Armor Titan, who's able to have armor all over their body at all times. The Colossal Titan, who's a 60-meter tall Titan. You have the Jaw Titan, which has a strong jaw. The Warhammer Titan, who's able to use the building factor of the Titans to their benefit where they can don't even have to be within the Titan to use it. They can just, and I don't even think they need to be in a chrysalis. That's just there to protect them. They can connect to it in other ways, which is interesting. The Founding Titan, which is obvious powers. Then you have the Beast Titan and things like that. But what does the female Titan do? What are their real powers? Because you saw the Attack Titan their power was Aaron's power, the ability to look into the future, or at least for Aaron to affect the memories of the past. Which makes me think, what if the Attack Titan was just an awakened Titan? Or somewhere down the line, one of the subjects in Ymir was given that power by Ymir themselves. For the specific purpose of that, it would lead up to Aaron Kruger giving Grisha Yeager that power, and then Grisha giving Aaron that power, and blah, blah, blah. Everything leading up. Maybe there was a future that, or maybe she wanted to free her grandchildren. Maybe later down the road she was awakened to the memories after everything that happened, and that's why she killed herself, because she knew that it was inevitable, that this was going to happen no matter what. And if the king died, then, maybe more horrible stuff would happen to her children or things like that, because once the king's dead, then she's no longer useful. She doesn't have any heirs to the throne. Though, then again, they didn't need a male heir. But if it's representing the past, and this is I don't know. And you also see, the source of all life connecting to the back of her spine. You wonder what that is. A lot of people have ideas and theories and things like that. People don't like the fact that it's supernatural, but what did you want from an anime that has giant titans made out of light that are all connected to one person in specific, the coordinate, Ymir, and they're all able to turn into giant titans with spinal fluid? It doesn't have to be absolutely, scientifically accurate. It's not even in the beginning scientifically accurate. It is amazing how they blend that, and that's the point. You can have something that's supernaturally based, or rather scientifically based in some degrees, but still supernatural in others, and that becomes the magic and mystification of it, or mystifying effect of it. Mystification isn't a word, or maybe it is, I don't know. So I wonder if it's more symbolic of her falling into the tree and falling into the water and becoming connected. I wonder if, the past can really connect to the present, and she got that power specifically because the future gave it to her. No idea. Or if she really was connected to that. I don't know. But I am perfectly fine with a little bit of supernatural aspects into it. There's no other forms of magic in the world. There's no other forms of anything else. And for the most part, it is still scientific a little bit, but it's not supposed to be the most scientifically accurate anime. Anyway, what was I going to say? What was I talking about? I don't know. So Ymir's eyes weren't closed in the traditional sense. They weren't closed down, but they weren't closed in the sense that nobody was home. She was a slave. And when Aaron finally got in contact with her, and the Founding Titan was then connected, because you have to wonder, how many of them even tried touching Ymir? And he says that once Ymir starts walking, nobody can stop her, but I don't think anybody tried. Or maybe they did, but they couldn't. Maybe that's the power of the Founding Titan, the chains on them and things like that. And because Grisha didn't, or not Grisha, Zeke didn't have the Founding Titan within him, he was able to freely walk because he wasn't bound by the Founding Titan's rule. Because it was probably just those of royal. Because you'd have to think, it wasn't, because he's still of royal blood in the coordinate, that little special zone, that little special place, and he's still able to walk around and control the Founding Titan. So I don't think that it was that anybody with royal blood that becomes a Titan is automatically controlled by the Founder's will. It's just anybody who has the Founding Titan and royal blood, or rather anybody of the Founding Titan would be imposed by his will, whichever king it was. The vow of peace, things like that. Which maybe that was to stop the rumbling from happening, and it was forced to happen because, that was again Ymir controlling, or rather Aaron having control over everything. I don't know. But Mikasa looks like she's going to die, because you can see in the first chapter, Mikasa asked him why he was crying, but he was only crying when he got up and looked at her, and things like that. Or I don't know, and he said, I just feel like I woke up from a long dream. But that's just future Aaron's memories going down into that. So I think that around the end of the series, Aaron from the future is going to go back to his memories to look at Mikasa when she's dead, and return back, like memory down memory lane where it all started. And he cries because Mikasa's no longer with us. I think that something's going to happen with the rumbling, that she's going to die during the rumbling, during the time when all those people are gone. I do think that he's going to stop everyone from being able to turn into Titans, and he is going to crush most of the people, or try to fight all of these wars. And what's interesting is that these people I can understand Marley, because they have the Titans from those people, and actually that goes back into it, because you have to wonder, these other people who are Titans that serve Marley, you can think with brainwashing, and it goes back to Ymir doing exactly what she was told, even though she could have killed any of the people. It's the brainwashing, so that might be why she did not turn her back, is because she was already brainwashed and believed that she was a slave and thus had no rights and things like that, and the idea of escape and everything was not possible, even though she had all this power, because at any point in time, any of these Beast Titan, anything, they could have easily destroyed everything. Heck, Zeke could have just destroyed Marley by himself. I mean, you do have the Warhammer Titan there too, but if all of the citizens, heck, if Zeke wanted to, he could just take his spinal fluid, put it in the drinks of all the Marlin citizens, and then yell, and boom, turn them into Titans right there and kill off, because none of the Marlians have any real defenses against Titans outside of the Titans that they have under their control, and the rest of the world, nothing. I can imagine, the Eldians they've lived with the Titans, they've had to develop gear specifically to fight them, but everyone else hasn't. Even though there's this looming threat of the rumbling happening, none of these cities, countries, or anything have anything to stop it from happening. And I wonder why. Don't you think that would be the first priority? Wouldn't you want to do that if you were going to be fighting against the potential of that? I feel like these countries would try to stop it. Or maybe they were just too stretched out. But then you have Marley, who was also trying to fight. I guess maybe they relied on Marley as well as their ally. The Marley was kept in place by Eldia. The rumbling effect possibly happening, and the Titans flattening the world and things like that. And then because Marley was kept in place, they were able to sign peace treaties with everybody not to use their Titans on anybody else or something like that. But they're still a dominant force. So who knows? Because maybe they worried that somebody from another country would find a way to get in there and then use the Titans and the king against Marley. Because at any point in time that could happen, because they all knew of the history. So I don't know. Heck, and if your country was going to fall because of Marley, you could at least do a kamikaze trip where you send people in, tell them that, get them under your control, convince the king, even though they didn't know that they had a vow of peace that stopped the rumbling from ever going to happen, and then have them flatten the world and destroy Marley. So again, everybody was kept in peace. But still, you would still think that they would try to find a way to prevent that catastrophe for themselves. I mean, if you look at the United States, the Air Force and pretty much the entire military itself are constantly... I'm only saying the Air Force because I was watching a video about a Reddit thread of somebody telling people about that. But they plan for every type of possibility. Unauthorized airspace, disease control, everything to ensure the safety of the United States. So you'd think that these other military, whatever. I'm just saying. So anyway, yeah, so I think that because of Aaron's connection with Ymir, he was given the ability to see into the future, to his own memories. He has direct connection to all of the other Attack Titans and has been leading them to that. Maybe the Attack Titan wasn't something old, but a new Titan that happened very recently when it was most beneficial and was going to happen eventually anyway, but inevitably, but it was not the right time. The Attack Titan had to be, so I don't imagine Eren going all the way back into the past and affecting all those memories, but it's possible. Maybe, just maybe, because none of the other Attack Titans knew that. Grisha was the only one that actually made that realization, or maybe, well, then Eren Kruger also said, I wonder whose memories those are. I'm not sure. I wonder. Anyway, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with the rest of the story. I do like it when stories have an end in sight, and they're not trying to yoke it forever. And for instance, One Piece could have ended like a long time ago. But anyway, I don't know. I would love to get better at making these videos, editing and all of that, and then I could put some side-by-side comparisons to show how it's easier, or make it easier for me to show you what I mean, because it's kind of hard without like having the chapter right there. But I also don't want to be demonetized as well if I ever do make these videos for showing any kind of art that isn't mine. So, which I might still at any point. I'm not even monetized as it is, but I'm always looking towards the future for anything. So, because if I get monetized now and then I start getting subscribers and everything like that, what if they start going back and watching those other videos, but then all of them demonetized for whatever reason? Things like that. Whatever. I don't know. It was just a quick thought, so I'm just going to title it that, quick thought, about the last chapter of Attack on Titan. I highly suggest that people, if you ever have a story that you like from anime or anything, just read the manga. Read the light novel if it has one. I did that for Overlord. Honestly, it opens up. I don't think Attack on Titan has a light novel, but if it does, then I would read that. But I don't really think so, because there'd be a lot more spoilers for it. It's a very popular story. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't, I don't know. But what is it? Isayama is the creator. Really did well with the story. I love it all. And I always knew that Eren wasn't going along with this. I didn't believe that Eren was just going to give up on everything and turn his back on Eldia. Turn his back on Mikasa and Armin and just become like that. I don't think that he was the one that would become brainwashed that easily. You know what I mean? And it's funny that he's been the one doing the brainwashing, ironically, because he was forcing his father to only see certain things, and even showed him the rumbling that was going to happen. So that it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. That he begged Zeke on his hands and knees to stop his own son. But still went along and gave him that, because there was only one hope, was probably Zeke stopping him. Or maybe, I don't know. No idea. What did he show his father? That's what I want to know. What did he show his father to make him give him the power? To make him cry? I want to see the panels where Grisha gets eaten with more details. I mean, everything in that scene in that latest story where he's feeding his kids to, because this is before they knew about spinal fluid and all that crap. So for a while they probably had to do that. They probably just did that, where they would, like, when someone died, they would eat the body, which is interesting because you'd think that, because with the story, how the story is, if a Titan user dies, their power is passed along to a random citizen of Eldia, a random subject of Ymir. So wouldn't one of her daughters have gotten? So maybe that's where the 9 Titans come from, because it wasn't passed in its fullness. And you think, with the founding, like, which one of the children's daughters became the first lineage? Because of the daughters, obviously one became the royal blood, and the others they had children that spread out more and more and more. They probably had more and more kids that were out of wedlock, branched off and formed, which is it's not unlikely in 2,000 years for one person to be. I mean, look at Genghis Khan. That dude lived for only a little bit, but a lot of people have his genes. A lot of people. So it's not unlikely that to increase his own strength, he wanted more people that were able to use the or rather the powers of Titans. Maybe he wanted to create an entire army of that, which he eventually did. Well, rather the daughters did, and they succumbed to. And I like how it always comes down to father brainwashing, because you think about how Zeke was very adamant about Aaron being brainwashed, and then you go back to that panel and see that his own kids, or that the king's own children, were brainwashed and told to eat their mom. So maybe that was again the effect of, I don't know. I'm not sure. But yeah, so they each have 3 kids. They each have the nine Titans. Some wondering how did the 9 Titans come to be? Well, that's because it was always going to happen that way. That's what led up to the Attack Titan. That's what led up to everything that was going to happen. Maybe it's payback. Maybe it's to free her because she was trapped in there and knew that she would be trapped. She wanted death, but even in death, she could not escape being a slave. And that's what she wanted this entire time, to be free of being a slave. Maybe she thought if she had served the king, she would no longer be a slave. Maybe she thought that she do this, do that, blah, 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 but was always just a slave for other people. You don't even see who her parents are. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I thought she was like a queen, like a founder, like the person that started Eldia, and somehow got the control of that, and she was the reason why everything happened, when really she was just a slave. And it always goes back to freedom in this story. It's always underlying the idea that freedom is something to aspire for, something that we have to gain, and everyone's trying to grasp at freedom. The Marleyans, the Eldians in Marley are trying to gain freedom for themselves, to try to right the wrongs of their past and improve their status in society. The Eldians are trying to find freedom from the walls and find freedom from the oppression of the Titans, which also represent the oppression of Marley itself on them. It's a literal representation, because all of those Titans are only there because of Marley, because of the subjugation of the Titans, of the Eldians. So it is their literal iron fist holding a clamp on them. Ymir wanted the freedom from becoming a slave to every single one, and in a result, she's still a slave to that king because of his blood. She's a slave to that king's blood all the way down the line. It isn't even really her blood that makes her a slave. It is rather him. It's a representation, because they're all his kids. They're all related to him down the line. At least the founding blood and things like that. It's crazy that there's only one last founding royal. 2, technically, if you count the baby, but, well, maybe there's some, relatives and whatnot off the premises, but they really did kill, Grisha really did kill most of the others. I wonder. I'm really interested. I like stories like this. But anyway, there is also another anime, I keep saying anime when I want to say story. There's another story. It is an anime now, but No Guns Life. I will make a video on that when I read through the entire story, but I'm liking it. Now, I thought this might be a gimmicky kind of thing. The guy has a gun for a head, but I don't care. That actually pulled me into it, because it's freaking cool. He has a gun for a head. But it's not just for show. There's something like, he's an overextended. There's things about it. I'll make a video about that. I don't want to become an anime discussion type of YouTube. I have, gaming stuff. I do want to do comedy. I just want to be a well-rounded YouTuber that does multiple things. I don't want to make separate channels or anything like that. I'll just have, gaming stuff on one playlist, on a few playlists, and then just so there's something for everybody. Anyway, I definitely need to do a podcast at some point for my Patreon supporters. Special thanks to all my patrons. $1, $5, $2, $3, $6. I don't really have a $2 or $3 tier, but I do have one guy that went to $6.90, so he could have 69 as his pledge. So congrats to you, man. I will offer better benefits when I am financially secure. I have about $1,000 in my bank account, which is going to go down because I have to pay more stuff. but that's more than I've had in a long while. Ever since I first got my car, when I was up at $8,000, I have not yet reached $8,000 again. I have never had $10,000 in my life, never. And that's my goal, is to get to $10,000 so I can quit my job, and then devote myself to just online stuff. Because with $10,000, I can, accurately save. I know that what I can do. So literally once I have 9,900 or 9,400, because I get paid 600 usually with my paychecks, that once I am at that point, I'm going to say that, okay, there's my 2 weeks, and just go. It'll take a while, definitely, but every single one of you that has supported me on Patreon, you are helping me get closer to that. From now on, I am going to move over all of the money that I get from Patreon into my savings account, as well as any kind of cameo that I get, any kind of like, I'm going to try to move my donations and things like that. I was only trying to make it so I could get to a point where I could survive off of, my paychecks, so I wouldn't, after bills and after everything that I have to spend, I'd still have money in my checking account. You don't need to hear all that, but whatever. But special thanks to Zomji Toaster for being a $15 patron. Thank you to Kai's your homie for being a $10 patron. Thank you to every single person that has ever given me money at any point in time. You are investing in me, whether or not you just like my comedy on TikTok, whether or not you like me anywhere else. You just want to see where I can go. I hope that I can impress you in the future. And to everyone that has ever helped me in the lowest point of my life, where I had no money and I was looked down upon by close family, friends, and family and everything. I appreciate you more than you know. I am getting back on my feet, and it would not have been possible without that. I mean, and I work full time almost. Basically, they're punishing me for reaching 40 hours at my job for 2 weeks in a row. Like one week was 40.5, and the other week was like 41. And now they're punishing me by moving down my hours. But that's fine. I'm just going to make more YouTube videos. You can put me down in hours. That's perfectly fine. I'll just do whatever I have to do. You know what I mean? I have money. And I'm being smart with it. I'm doing what I can. So anyway, if you'd like to support me on Patreon, the link will be in my link tree that has all my links, which will be in the description below. Rather than type everything out and have to say all that crap, I just prefer to use the link tree because it's easily clickable. You don't have to do anything. You just do that. It's 2 more clicks, but at least then you can also see my Instagram, my Twitter, my Patreon, my YouTube, which is here. So if you're watching this video, you're obviously doing that, whatever. And all of the other things that I'm on and whatnot. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you very much for being supporters of me. Love you all. Have a good day. Also, good evening, good afternoon. I didn't say that in the beginning.